Now, when we're cleaning our brushes out, there's a specific way that we need to press the bristles into the water to release the paint. You don't do this and just wash it around like this and flay it about. You don't press directly down because that's going to flay the bristles out. You actually want to put your brush on a slight angle like that in the water, bend the bristles, and then you press down like that. You'll do that 4 times. You'll do that 4 times. You'll do that 4 times. Then you'll do that 4 times, and you'll repeat the entire process. Maybe a couple more times. Let's practice. First, wipe the excess paint out of your brush. Fill up a pot with water. Now perform the process that I just talked about. You can see the paint starting to release from those bristles. This is after 1 rinse, and I did it about maybe 3 or 4 times, that process. More water, and repeat. And we're going to keep doing this until that water is clean enough to drink. So after a 3rd bucket of water, you can see there's no paint releasing from those bristles anymore. The only thing left to do now really is clean up all this dried paint through the bristles. So we can use a wire brush for that, although some people might say that's a little bit aggressive. I find it's absolutely fine. Or you could use a stiff bristle brush, something like that. The wire brush is going to work better if the paint's a bit older. You can see with this old brush, after wire brushing, I've got a bunch of that dried paint out, but there still is a little bit there. With older brushes, that's just going to stay there. It doesn't really matter. It's not going to affect the performance of the brush. The nice thing to do is to properly store the brush. So we've got a choice of a couple things. Some people like to leave their brushes wet like this. It helps them retain their shape really well. If you are going to leave them like this, you do need to make sure that they're in a space that they can dry out properly. Best case scenario is hung up from a wire in your van or something like that so it can drip dry. The other 2 alternatives, some people, they just spin their brush out, 1 hand on each side of the handle. They'll give it a real thorough spin out and leave it like that, but that actually flays the bristles a bit. After giving that a spin out, you can sort of see the bristles start to flay out a little bit, and over time that gets worse and worse until the brush is pretty bad. What you can do instead is use a brush comb to neaten that out a bit. This here is a brush comb, and we're simply just going to comb through the hairs or the bristles of the brush. Normally I'd be doing this standing up, but just wanted to show you sort of the technique. You do that at each 4 sides. And the last thing to do is just shape it a little bit with your hand. You can see here after I've combed the brush, but then also shaped it with my hand, I'm going to keep that nice shape. There's a few flayed out bristles, but that's what happens just naturally as your brushes get older.